Next up, Sheffield United. I'm going to put them just ahead of Bournemouth. And next, I'm putting my beloved Aston Villa. Now, I've seen a lot of people put Villa towards here, which is crazy. I am just so good at predictions. One day I'll get it. The Premier League starts today. I'm going to do a full rundown of what I think will happen this season. I think there's going to be a few surprises here. Hopefully they age well. Right, here we are then. We've got Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, higher mid-table, low mid-table, and relegation. We're going to start at the very bottom and work our way up. And the first team, I think most people have this team, bottom of the league. I'm sorry, it is Ipswich Town. Look, they are newly promoted. In fact, they're doubly newly promoted. They won. They got promotion from League One, promotion from the Championship. A good team, a very good manager, but I think the Premier League is a massive step up, and I think they're just going to concede a lot of goals. I don't think they're going to win many games. I don't think they'll quite break the Derby point record. I think that will still stay for quite a while. But yeah, I think they are going down. Sorry for the Ipswich Town fans. Now, I know Southampton were a mainstay in the Premier League at one point, but I think they are going to go down again. I think there might be a new yo-yo team. Next, the final team to go down. I'm sorry, as much as I like Nottingham Forest, I do think they're going down. I think Forest have been battling relegation for a couple of years now. They seem to always do just about enough. But I think they're in a little bit of trouble. They have made some signings, Elliot Anderson for a lot of money from Newcastle. But I think eventually, when you're around the bottom, you're gonna go down. I remember Aston Villa, like a decade ago, we'd always be around 16th, 17th, and eventually you're gonna hit the trapdoor. I just don't really see Forest, at the very least, escaping this sort of area. Maybe if they sign some more players in the rest of the month, maybe they'll stay up. But I think they're really going to struggle. Which leads me to Leicester. I think Leicester are the only newly promoted team that will stay up. I do think they just have a Premier League team. I think that side absolutely blew the Championship apart, even with like a bit of a collapse towards the end of the season. They still managed to blow teams away. And yeah, just an incredible squad. Jamie Vardy, a bit on the older side now, but even he managed to score a few goals towards the end of the season. I just think Leicester will have enough. I don't think the points will be very high. I think Leicester could even stay up on less than 40. But I do think they will just about escape the drop and be one of the three newly promoted to stay up. Next, I'm going Fulham. Fulham have lost two of their best players. Paulinho wanted to go for a very long time. I think he had his transfer blocked to Bayern Munich before. I just think they're going to miss those players. I really don't see where their points are going to come from. I don't think they'll go down. The thing is that the quality of the Premier League towards the bottom is so bad. I think you can get away with being a team like Fulham. They just don't strike me as like a just very good team. I don't want to be offensive to anyone, but they don't scare me, Fulham. I don't. You look at the scary games away from home, like Man City away, Newcastle away, Chelsea. Well, maybe not Chelsea these days, but Fulham do not scare me. Craven Cottage is not a dangerous place to go. 15th place, and it gives me all the pleasure in the world to say it's going to be Wolves. I think Wolves are in some serious trouble. In fact, to be honest, I'm being a bit nice. I think they could be even lower. They've lost Kilman. They've lost Neto, arguably their best player. People say he's injury prone. I just think Wolves are going to seriously struggle. They need to use this money very well in the next few weeks, I think, to push away from this terrible pack, really, of teams. 14th place, I'm going Everton. I think Everton... This will be an improvement on last season, not by a great deal. I just don't really see... Again, I don't really see them improving too much. They might float around here. I don't think they're going to threaten for any European competition anytime soon. They sold Onana to Aston Villa, so arguably their best player. I don't see them pushing anything up here. The final for lower mid, I'm going Brentford. Now, they do have Tony back, and a lot of people have said they could see them fighting for the European places again. Personally, I think they might compete at the start of the season. I think eventually they'll fall off. I think 13th is, a very respectable finish for Brentford. It would be an improvement on last season with their 16th place finish. I think with goals maybe from Mbeumo, they might do well. I don't know. I don't really rate Brentford as... I won't call them a very good Premier League side. I'd call them probably the most average Premier League team you can think of. Moving on to the sides in the top half of the Premier League, you've got Brighton. Brighton are a very good team. However, new manager comes in. I think De Zerbi will be a big miss, and it might take them a while to settle. I'll talk about Liverpool in the same manner. A little bit of a spoiler there. I think a new manager, it takes a while to settle in, to get a style of play going. I think Brighton have a very good team, a good basis to go off. I just don't see them, doing too much in terms of the top end of the table. They might get like 10 points away from 7th place, maybe even less. I don't think too many Brighton fans would complain at 12th place. From this point on, it does get very difficult. And I don't think there's actually too much between these teams. I am going Bournemouth next. I think Bournemouth, with their new manager from last season, I think they're brilliant. Honestly, they've got an incredible side. They have lost Solanke, and that could be an issue. They could, struggle in terms of goals. They did very well. I think people underestimate how well Bournemouth actually did. They were nowhere near a relegation battle. They were soaring. They caused a lot of teams problems. They managed to win 13 games in the Premier League last season. There's a lot of games, a lot of points on the board. I think they've got a good scouting system. Solanke, I think he sold for 60 million. I think they're going to bring in some top players with that money. They always seem to. Top 10, going Crystal Palace. Palace having a very good manager. Absolutely battered Villa on the final day. It was a very drunk, celebratory Villa because we made the Champions League. But they hammered Villa, and I think Glasner is insanely good. I think Mateta, with his little goal chant, I think he's just a top player. Maybe hit a purple patch, maybe, which is actually showing how good he is. I think he could have a very strong season. I think Palace definitely will. Next, we got West Ham. West Ham have signed lots of players. Fulkrug, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Somerville. The list goes on. We also play West Ham. And although I actually think Villa might lose to West Ham at the weekend, I don't actually see West Ham finishing in a Europa League spot, Conference League, whatever. I don't see them getting that high. Very good team, West Ham. They will improve. I think last year, well, technically not an improvement. They finished 9th. I've put them 9th again. I think they're a very good team. I think they'll do very well again. Maybe they creep up here. I think it's very easy for them to do that. I think it just takes one of these teams dropping a bit lower. 8th place, I'm going Chelsea. Very similar to what I've mentioned around here. New managers. I think new managers usually take at least a year to settle. Chelsea they seem to be just a little bit of a mess, signing so many players. I think they've got over 40 squad players now. Some of them are very good signings, like Neto. Some of them aren't very good signings. They've just spent stupid money. Kellyman was signed for 20 million from Aston Villa. Don't even know why. It benefited Villa with PSR, but I don't really see what... As much as I think Kellyman's a good player, don't see what he has to offer Chelsea when they've got millions of midfielders. I just think they will struggle with Maresca. I don't see them pushing towards the top end. I still think they probably should have stuck with Pochettino. And I've been saying for a long time, to be fair, Pochettino to get the sack. However, he seemed to steady the ship a little bit towards the end of last season. I think it was a little bit harsh to sack him. As soon as he started to get momentum, as soon as he started to, win more games, very easily could have beat Villa. I remember in a draw, they had to have a goal chalked off right at the very end. I think Chelsea, though, with this new manager, I just don't see them doing that well. I think it could be another season of mediocrity. It would be 3 years in a row. Chelsea could be becoming the new mid-table team. You never know. Right, everyone here makes Conference League and onwards. And you know what? I'm going to be incredibly harsh to the team I love the most, and I think Aston Villa will finish 7th place. Now, put your pitchforks down, right? I know Villa fans will be upset with me here. I'm just being realistic. Look at the way Newcastle fell away. After they made the Champions League, they made the Promised Land. That was the goal. They made it. Champions League, they were given the group of death. They ended up going out, and they didn't do amazing in the Premier League. They still finished in a European spot. I think Aston Villa will be the exact same. I just think it will take a toll on us. We saw the end of last season, how we struggled in Europe. I think Villa might do well in the Champions League. Obviously, I don't think we're going to win it, but we might get, maybe a little bit far. And I just think that will take a toll on the squad. We seem to have a really poor second team. It's slowly improving. It's slowly getting better. But the difference between our first 11 and our second 11 is night and day. Players like Olsen are nowhere near the quality of Emi Martinez, and I just think Villa will struggle. I want us to see us. I want to see us being up here towards Europa League and the Champions League. I just think this is a very conservative take from me. And I think Villa. I think seventh wouldn't be too bad. I think a good year in the Champions League, get some good players in. We've already got we've got the likes of Maatsen. I think we'll have a decent season. Maybe not to the extent that some Villa fans think. I've seen a lot of Villa fans say 5th and 6th to 4th, but I'm being a little bit more realistic. I think we'll finish still in Europe, but 7th place. 6th place, I'm going Newcastle. I think Newcastle they're getting better as a team. I think they are slowly improving. As long as they keep easing it, I think they'll be towards up here. I think they'll be pushing for top 4. I don't think they'll be too far away from it, but I don't see them making the top 4 barely. And I think a lot of that is down to, I think Spurs will do very well. And yeah, I think some of these teams will do a bit better than what people think. Next, Manchester United. Ten Hag saved his job with a trophy, and I think he will be the manager for the rest of the season. However, I just don't see them doing quite enough. They might do. But I personally really don't see it. I think these 4 teams, Arne Slot coming in, Liverpool might struggle for season 1. I don't think they're going to be in a title race, but I think, I'll just put them here now. I think that's a 4th place spot for Liverpool. I just think Liverpool's squad is better than Man United's. New manager, like I said, he might struggle, but the actual core squad is just, yeah. Ironically, United always seem to do well against Liverpool, at least last season they did. But I just think Liverpool's core squad is better than Man United's. It could be like that. But personally, I think it will be 4th place Liverpool. 3rd, Spurs. I actually really do rate Spurs. I really rate the manager. I think Ange Postecoglou, he is a winner. He's someone who, ironically, doesn't have the Spurs mentality. Actually wants to win games of football, wants to win trophies. And I think he actually will do well at Spurs. Finally gets a number 9 with Solanke. Finally gets to push Son out wide in his best position. I think Spurs will cut. I think they'll do really well. Not a title fight, but yeah. And finally, the champion. Everyone seems to nail it between Man City and Arsenal. I don't think many have chosen a team outside of these 2. And my champion will be City. Yeah, it's boring, I know. But Arsenal, they're a good team. I just think they're just not quite City, are they? They're a very good team. They win a lot of games. And the run they went on last year was insane. It was stopped, ironically, by Aston Villa. But you've just got to be perfect. And they're not. They're not perfect, which is a shame because they're very, very good. They're very good. And they pushed Pep Guardiola all the way. But it still wasn't quite enough. And yeah, unless the 115 charges hit City like a truck, I just don't see any team taking them off the top. And it's really sad to say it because we're slowly becoming a Farmers League. They are walking away with it every single year. Arsenal, I want them to do well. If I could choose, I would say any of these teams above City. I really don't like Man City, to be honest. But I just think they're a step above. Like, Rodri is one of the best players in the world. Arguably, the best player in the world of his position. One of the best midfielders in the world. When he was out, teams like Villa beat City. They struggled. Luton were even beating them at one point, and they had to come back. And in that game, that was without Rodri. I think if Rodri stays fit, they will absolutely fly. Arguably, Rodri should have won Player of the Season, but that's a different conversation. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. That is my full list. I think I've actually been a bit harsh to my own club, really. I think Villa could definitely finish up here. All it takes is Man United to have a disaster season and finish here. Chelsea could surprise me. I doubt it. I'd look at them. Maybe Cole Palmer can drag them up here, but Palmer was taking them away from relegation last season. Injury issues, I think, could plague them. Nkunku staying fit, they might do well. We'll see. Thank you guys for watching and enjoy the Premier League. It starts today. Man United against Fulham. I will be watching that. And Villa, I'll be live on YouTube and TikTok. Aston Villa against West Ham. I'm terrified. Up the Villa. Thank you guys for watching.